read a lot about high aspect ratio wings and was excited to try one for myself. This is the new Axis 1150 wing. At 115 centimeters of wingspan, this is the largest wingspan in the Axis family. We will review and compare the Axis 1150 high aspect ratio wing to the Slingshot Infinity 99 lower aspect ratio wing. We compared the first two attributes, gliding distance and stall speed, in part 1, and in part 2 we'll cover pumping speed and pumping duration. This wing here is the Infinity 99 from Slingshot. It has 25% more area than this Axis wing, but this Axis wing has 16% more wingspan. Very different shapes. I'm anxious to see how they compare. The aspect ratio definition is relatively simple for rectangular wings. It's the span divided by the chord. For hydrofoil wings, when the chord varies along the span, manufacturers often cite the max chord as the measurement. The way to calculate aspect ratio here is to take the square of the span and divide by the area. If you look at the bottom, those are two black rectangular wings of different aspect ratio in the same area, just to give you a visual representation of what high aspect and low aspect ratio means. If you have a high and low aspect ratio wing of the same area, you'll get more lift out of the high aspect ratio wing because of the more efficient tip design. And since the high aspect ratio wings need less area to produce the same amount of lift, there's less drag. Finally, one additional attribute that high aspect ratio wings have is the sensitivity to changes in lift. As the board changes with respect to the water by a small angle, there is relatively large changes in lift force. For this comparison, I pumped these two wings to the maximum speed I was able to reach and tried to maintain that speed through the course. As you can see, the Axis 1150 is a little bit faster. To test the pumping duration, I acquired this bungee from a company in France called Horue. I wanted to ensure the same pulling force off the dock for each test. It may have been operator error, or it may have been the additional buoyancy from the 99, but I wasn't able to get the dwarf craft to lift with the Axis 1150 underneath, so I switched to the Alien Air. As you can see, I wasn't able to follow the exact same trajectory, but I think I was pretty close. The Axis 1150 pumped a little bit faster than the Slingshot Infinity 99. At about 54 seconds, I ran out of energy with the Infinity 99. The Axis 1150 was able to pump for an additional 10 seconds. This was the second run of the day, so I was a little bit more tired, and this was also the first time I used the Alien Air with the 1150, so I suspect with more attempts I'd get a little bit better. Based on my experience riding this wing for the last few weeks, I have 5 main conclusions. The first is that the 1150 is a glider. It glided 25 meters in my test, 5 meters further than the 99. The second is that it's fast when pumped, approximately 1 kilometer per hour faster than the Infinity 99. Third is that the Axis 1150 can be pumped for a long time, about 10 seconds longer than the 99. The fourth is that I found it difficult to get out of the water, perhaps the additional buoyancy of the 99 or the sudden lift from high aspect, I'm not too sure. And number 5, the Axis 1150 has less fluid carving. With 16 centimeters of additional wingspan, it was just less fluid in the rolling direction. The Axis 1150 was my first experience riding high aspect ratio wings. Given that the geometry is so different from a low aspect ratio wing, I expected a drastically different riding experience. As you can see, there were some differences and some pros and cons to the high aspect approach, but I really didn't experience the drastic difference that I expected.
I'm tired.